Welcome to episode 3 of season 2 of 24/7 Health News, hosted by Health Coach Shay. These topics are from my blog at 247healthnews.com, or they're topics that I think are important to health and fitness. So today, it's going to be something I think is important to health and fitness. And it's kind of like a part 2 of GLP-1s. So because these topics are important to your health, I'll try to break them down so we can apply them to our regular lives and make informed decisions. So again, I am your host, Health Coach Shay. I'm a master trainer and a holistic health coach. So let's do a few disclaimers. My information is not meant to be prescribed or to take in lieu of a discussion with your doctor. As a matter of fact, I recommend that you speak to your healthcare professional, especially when we're talking about GLP-1s. Shouldn't be ordering that stuff off the internet in bulk without talking to your doctor, unless you already have a prescription or something and you're doing it. I don't know. Just be careful. You should always speak to your healthcare professional before making nutrition or fitness changes. I'm a health coach, so I am making recommendations only in that capacity. So I always like to say this is where science meets strategy, because I think your DNA is one of the biggest things that you should be paying attention to when it comes to health coaching. So this is where science meets strategy, and your DNA becomes the blueprint for your strongest, healthiest life. So let's get started with this GLP-1 stuff. On my last podcast, I explained what GLP-1s do, what they are. I thought it was quite interesting that they are an actual thing that you already have in your body, that it just may not be working just right. So today, we're going to talk about what happens after. If you're on semaglutide, tirzepatide, or any of the GLP-1 medications, you already know how powerful they are. They quiet the food noise. They help you feel full. And for many people, they finally make weight loss feel possible. Sometimes for the first time in their lives, which is off the hook. But here's the thing. Weight loss is just the beginning. Your body is going to be completely different. And the moment you hit your goal, a whole new phase begins. One that's rarely discussed, often misunderstood, and absolutely critical for long-term success. So you don't want to be going on and off of this stuff and going back and forth. You have to shift from active weight loss to long-term maintenance. And today we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about the biology, the physiology, the psychology, the habits, and the medication decisions that you're going to have to make, and the support systems that make maintenance not just possible, but sustainable. And we're also going to talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention, is the role of health coaches in helping you navigate this new chapter. So whether you're on a GLP right now, or talking about starting, or already at your weight loss goal and wondering what comes next, guess what? This episode is for you. So GLP-1 medications have completely changed the landscape of weight loss. In just a few years, drugs like Ozempic, or just a few years ago, just like Ozempic and Mounjaro were mainly used for diabetes. Most people hadn't even heard about them, didn't know anything about that. Today, they're everywhere. And for many people, they've become the first tool that actually works for long-term weight loss. In fact, about 1 in 8 adults, U.S. adults, have tried GLP-1 medications. And I mean, that's tens of millions of people. That's a lot. 1 in 8 of 300 billion people, right? So what makes it different? What makes GLP-1 different? They don't just rely on willpower. They work on your biology. Remember what I said. GLP-1s mimic a hormone in your body that is already produced. And that hormone helps regulate appetite, digestion, blood sugar, and fullness. But what people really notice is something called food noise disappearing. The constant mental chatter about food, what to eat next, whether to snack. Think about food even when you're not hungry. Gee whiz. For many people, it finally goes quiet. And for the first time, eating feels calm, not obsessive, not stressful, just normal. And that's why these medications feel so life-changing. But here's what most people don't expect. Weight loss is only the first chapter. What comes next is where the real challenge begins. Now, I'm going to drag you back. You have to Google this. And I want to make sure you really understand that food noise. Oprah was talking about it. Now, whether you like her, love her, or hate her, whatever it is, she was right about that. I'm not sure I agree with her assessment that you need to have it. You need to be on GLP-1s forever, like heart medicine. I definitely don't agree with that. I'm not going to say I'm not sure. I don't agree with that at all. However, people who have food noise, it makes me wonder, is that why she's on it? Did she have some really bad food noise and now she's just on a low-dose GLP-1s just so she can get rid of the food noise? I don't know if it can go down that far. I'm not sure. I would actually have a conversation with my doctor about that. So let's, I feel for folks to that. I mean, eating can be boring to me and can be, I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent, but eating can be boring to me. I like to taste foods that sort of, make me excited to eat them and things like that. And I don't think I have food noise. But I have studied up on this because, like I said, I'm a health coach and I really am concerned with quick fixes. I get nervous about those and I like to really dig into them and explain. So like I said, when I found out this was a hormone that was produced in your body, I thought, okay, well, that's better at the very least. You're not taking something artificial. It's something that's produced. Well, it is artificial, but it's something that's produced in your body. So that makes me feel a little better about it. So anyway, let's talk about this maintenance. Sorry, that was an aside tangent because it just makes me think about, what we're putting in our bodies and how we're starting to question everything that's made outside of our own homes. And that's not natural. So just think about that. But if you're going to go on them, I think that's a personal choice. And if you have been on them, it's all okay. But you have to remember, first of all, do you have the money to be on them forever? And if you don't, what about the maintenance after? So let's talk about it. Because this is where so many people struggle, not just on GLP-1s, but with any weight loss. I lost my 50 pounds and now I got to keep it off. What do I do? And it's not because people fail, it's because biology kicks back in. When you lose weight, your body adapts. Your metabolism slows down. You burn fewer calories at rest. Your hunger hormones increase. Your fullness hormones decrease. And guess what? Your body starts trying to return to its previous weight. So Those of you who don't want to be gym heads, you run into a problem because you might have been doing that extra thing to get that weight off, and you want to stop doing that extra thing. But if you don't do that extra thing, all of that other stuff happens. So it's really the survival of your system. Your body doesn't know you're trying to lose weight. It thinks you're starving, so it pushes back. And this is why maintenance often feels harder than losing the weight. You have to get it to a point where your body understands this is the new normal. And let me tell you, I know something about that. Small aside, I'm a stroke survivor and I had a big major stroke. So it is the new normal is hard. Believe me. So during weight loss, you have momentum, you see progress, you feel motivated. But once you hit your goal, the momentum slows and your body starts resisting. And if you stop the medication or even reduce it, those hunger signals may come back. Sometimes subtly, sometimes very quickly. I spoke to a woman recently. I don't know why she did this, but good example. She took the medication for a month. She lost, I guess, a good bit of weight, and she just stopped. And I was like, okay. And now she wants back on the medicine because all the noise came back. And I tried to explain to her that you can do something for 7 days and it forms a habit, but your biology is not like that. Your biology needs 90 days, 6 months to change and to recognize its new normal, and sometimes longer. So you have to understand again that if you regain the weight, it's not personal failure. It's psychology, it's physiological, right? And when you understand that, you can stop blaming yourself and start building a real strategy to go forward. So again, people ask, what happens when you stop the GLP-1s? Because people want to know, especially think about it. What did I say before? The people who are on GLP-1s have lost the weight could be for the first time ever. So their big question is, if I stop the medication, will I gain the weight back? The honest answer is some people do regain the weight. Some people regain a little, some people regain more, but it's not guaranteed. Here's why you regain, or why you can regain. While you're on the medication, it's helping regulate your appetite, reduce cravings, slow down digestion, and help you feel full sooner. So when you stop, those effects, I almost said side effects. Those are the effects of the medication. So it's not side effects, it's effects of the medication. They start to fade. Your hunger may increase, cravings may return, you may feel less full after eating. And I wanted to liken that to if you were just working out to lose the weight and you were doing these heavy workouts to help get the weight off. And you slow down those workouts, but you're at this smaller weight. Your body's going to need more fuel to keep going. So your hunger is going to increase. Cravings may go up because you're going to feel hungry. But anyway, here's the important part. Not everyone has the same experience. So it depends on things like your habits, your stress, your sleep, and your environment. So the takeaway is stopping GLP-1s do not doom you, but they do require a plan and, of course, support. So let's talk about a little bit of something that people don't think might happen. Um, the emotional side of reaching your weight loss goal, you know, you might think you're just going to feel happy and you're done. And yes, there's relief, there's pride, but also now sets in that anxiety, right? Right in there, you're feeling the fear that you might regain the weight. And whatever your perfect is, you're going to feel the pressure to stay perfect, right? And now and even there's some confusion. Okay, so what do I do now? Because your identity has been, I need to lose weight, or I'm losing weight. And now it becomes, I'm maintaining. And we're not talking about that. And that's a completely different mindset that you have to have. And when you start seeing maintenance as a new phase and not an ending, is because it's much more manageable. So you have to be really mindful that maintaining is a stage. There's one concept that can completely change how you see this process. Metabolic adaptation. After weight loss, your body becomes more efficient. You burn fewer calories, you feel hungrier. Yes, I said that. You feel hungrier and you feel less full. And it doesn't go away right away. Your body is still adjusting for months, sometimes longer. Remember at the beginning of this, I said 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year you need metabolic change. So your body is still adjusting for months, sometimes longer. So if maintenance feels harder than expected, again, that's not you failing. That's your body recalibrating. Your biology is recalibrating. You have to make sure that your biology is ready for the smaller size or whatever you've done with your weight, how much ever you've lost, whatever you got a smaller waist, whatever you've done, you have to make sure your biology has adapted to it. You lose 60 pounds in 6 months and your biology is not ready. It could not be ready. So you ask the question, so should I stay on the medication long term? For some people, that might be the solution. That might be a yes. Many experts now view GLP-1s like long-term treatments. Similar to blood pressure and cholesterol medicines. A maintenance dose can help regulate your appetite and prevent you from regaining the weight. But we have to make sure that that's right for you. Some people can't deal with the costs, the insurance, and the side effects, or simply prefer not to stay on it. So there's no right answer. The key is having a plan that works for you. I talked to another person today about the medication, and I asked them to do their own research, because the thing is, you have to be mindful that you need to do research, not only just on which medications to take, but what's your after plan? What are you going to do after the medication? What's the answer for you? And when is your end? That's something to discuss with your doctor as well. When is your end? When might I be finished with this? How fast, in your mind, you know how fast your body adjusts to things, right? You have to stay, there's so many, we can go back to those side effects. People talk about being nauseous, getting the flabby skin, and all of that kind of stuff. The other conversation I had today was I asked the lady, was she working out? When we talked about the GLP-1s. And was she drinking water? Because you need to be drinking enough water to keep your body hydrated, and you need to be doing some workouts to get your skin tight. So you have to be mindful of all of those things. So, the big deal here is maintenance is not about perfection. It's about consistency, right? I have a episode early on when I started doing this, a little short episode called 10 Small Changes You Can Make Today to Prevent Weight Gain. Go listen to that one. It's 20 minutes. It's not even 20 minutes. It's like 19 and a half minutes. Listen to that one. And then I have another one that's even shorter, 12 minutes, almost 13, Weekend Warriors Workout. Is it still good? And those two episodes talk about being consistent, doing specific things. If you are working out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, well, that's 3 days a week that you're working out. And if you are picking 2 to 3 out of the 10 small changes that you can do to help prevent weight gain, and you're doing those 2 to 3 things weekly, consistent. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do something. And I recently, more of another tangent, I recently was reading about how they're talking to us about how we need to do more cardio, and walking just ain't getting it, right? I'm sorry, not more cardio, more weight training, right? And people, when you say weight training to some people, they're like, forget about it, right? They're uninterested. They don't want to have anything to do with any kind of picking up weights or running around and going to the gym and doing that. That's not what it has to be. You don't have to be, throwing dumbbells around the gym. What you can do is get you some ankle weights and do some leg lifts. Get you some wrist weights and do some arm curls that while you walk, and you can still walk. Those things are very much the same, and they help tighten up your muscles on your body and do good. Pressing your arms over your head with wrist weights on is weight training. Okay. So I think because there's so much on the TV about people getting buff and lifting and doing all this stuff, we get really deeply concerned about going to the gym. I have a lot of other reasons about going to the gym that I get deeply concerned about. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, so I don't want to be in there with everybody else sweating. So I'm kind of freaky about that. I can understand if that's your deal. I can understand if that's your deal and you don't want to go to the gym. For what you pay to go to the gym monthly, you can pick up probably 3 varying sizes in ankle and wrist weights, and you're good for a while. Start with, I don't know, whatever you need to start with that's good for you, and use them like I said, and you'll be good to go. I promise. You're talking to a health coach. That is a perfect, especially if you're like me and over 50, especially. But anybody can do that. If the gym ain't your get down, it don't have to be your get down. It's all good. So let's see. What else? Well, let's wrap this up. So reaching your weight loss goal on a GLP-1 is a major milestone. But I want you to make sure that you understand it's not the end of the journey. It's just the beginning of the new thing, the maintenance phase. You have to remember this phase requires that you understand your biology, you build sustainable habits, and you stay connected to support. And it's tough to know what that looks like, because what is your support? Do you walk with your significant other? Do you guys cook meals the same way? I talked to my mom the other day, and it was more about pricing than anything else. And she said she was going to go completely vegan. And I was kind of freaking out. I was like, well, Mom, at your age, you need some protein, right? You need some protein. And what about your husband? You guys need some protein. She's like, he agrees. And, she's going to start looking at more protein-rich vegetables and beans and all of that sort of stuff. She's trying to grow everything. So you have to have a plan for everything. And it's unfortunate because, off on another tangent again, it's unfortunate because when we think about all these plans, we have all this other life going on. You got to go to work. You might have to take care of the kids, and the kids require certain meals. But I want you to remember, too, that they generally require the same meals that you do. If you go vegan and you need protein, and you're taking your kids with you, make sure you got protein for them too. Everybody needs that stuff. So you have to, everything requires a plan, and you have to be compassionate with yourself and responsible, and recognize that in the maintenance part of the weight loss program, whether on GLP-1s or not, your body is still adjusting. And that's a normal thing. Remember, if you're in this phase right now, you're not failing, you're not behind. It's a transitional situation, right? So keep in mind that you just need the right support. You need a long-term plan, because success is absolutely possible. Right? So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to all the things. If you're just taking a shot and just happy to be dropping that weight because it's going to drop off, and you're not thinking about what's going to happen, maybe you are Oprah and you have long money. But I know in this day and age, not everyone does. So you do have to think about what's going to happen after this. If you have a finite amount, let's say you got 6 months of money, okay, then you need a 5-year plan. I got 6 months of money to get this weight off of me. I'm going to drop it off. And I need to make sure that I know what I'm going to do after that 6 months to maintain this weight. So again, I am Health Coach Shay. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. Let's talk about a little bit of our sponsorship here. So we have Sage Life Therapeutics is one of my sponsor. They sell great supplements, especially if you're on your maintenance plan. They sell great supplements. We have a great whey, dreamsicle vanilla, and a great chocolate. So check that out. My friends over at My Healing 365, they are a full telehealth clinic, but they do have GLP-1 treatments plans that you can look into. And then let's see, who else? My off-brand, my not health folks. Well, we'll talk about it. You'll see them in the comments of this podcast. So as always, thanks for being here, and take care of yourself. Thank you. Have a great day.